What's up, everybody? This is Danny Mathematics here with another example to explore. And today, guys, I want to go over example 1 of word problems that are dealing with ratios. Word problems that are dealing with ratios, right? And remember, guys, ratios fall under the proportionality umbrella, along with unit rates, percents, measurement conversions, scale drawings, scale factoring, and more. Okay, so and then one thing I do want to say, guys, just note this, guys, a ratio is just a comparison of two different quantities. That's it. It's just a comparison of two different things or two different quantities. So for example, I'm gonna give you an example. We can compare the number of boys to the number of girls, or we can compare the number of apples to the number of oranges, or we can compare the number of blue shirts to the number of red shirts, right? We're just comparing two different quantities, and we can simplify it to a simple ratio, okay? So let's go ahead and look at it, guys. And once again, guys, because this falls under the proportionality umbrella, we can use the box method. And when we are solving ratio examples while using the box method, guys, here's how we're gonna set it up. It's set up the same way, but instead of us labeling inside the boxes, we're gonna label row 1, row 2 as subject 1, subject 2, right? These are the two things, or the two quantities we are comparing, all right? The first column is always the ratio column, which is the comparison between those two quantities in the simplest form, right? So that's gonna go in this column, and this column is the actual column. That's where we're gonna actually put the actual quantities of the two different subjects that are being compared, right? So the first column is just the ratio between the two quantities, the two different subjects or the two different quantities. The actual column is gonna give us the actual number that represents quantity 1 or subject 1, and the actual quantity that represents subject 2. So I just wanted to explain that, all right? So now let's go ahead and start off with this problem. It says at Cy Parks High School, the ratio between students to teachers is 28 to 1. Okay, once again, at Cy Parks High School, the ratio between students to teachers is 28 to 1. So for every 28 students, there's one teacher, right? If there are 102 teachers on campus, then how many students are enrolled at Cy Parks High School, okay? Now, we can figure that out, guys, because they're giving us a ratio between the number of students compared to the number of teachers, and then they also gave us the actual number of teachers that actually work at Cy Parks High School, right? So because of that, guys, we can also find out and answer the question, which is how many students are enrolled at Cy Parks, okay? How many students are enrolled at Cy Parks, okay? So remember, guys, because we have the ratio between students to teachers, and then we actually have the actual number of teachers that work at Cy Parks, we can find out the number of students enrolled at Cy Parks, all right? So I just wanted to explain that. Now we're about to set everything up, guys. So once again, all we're gonna do is just follow this format, okay? So I'm just gonna draw an arrow just to show, okay? And then we're gonna follow that format. Okay, cool. So, guys, subject 1 is the first subject that was mentioned when they given us the ratio. All right, here's the ratio right here, guys. Student to teachers, right? Students to teachers. So students is subject 1. I'm gonna put sub 1, and we're comparing the number of students to the number of teachers, which is subject 2, right? So we're comparing the number of students to the number of teachers, right? So let's go ahead and label those rows. Since the first subject is students, I'm gonna label it as students. And in the second row, I'm gonna label that as teachers, right? It's the first thing we should do, guys. We should label our rows, right? Now, what we're gonna do is, guys, we're gonna label the first column as ratio. We're gonna label the first column as ratio. This is where the ratio between the number of students and the number of teachers will go, all right? Now, they're actually giving us a ratio right here, guys. This is the ratio right here, guys, 28 to 1. What it's saying is for every 28 students enrolled at Cy Parks, there's one teacher that works at Cy Parks. Once again, For every 28 students that are enrolled at Cy Parks, there's one teacher that works at Cy Parks. That's the ratio between students to teachers, right? Now, remember, this is just the ratio, the comparison of the quantities in its simplest form, but the next column is gonna be the actual quantity, right? The actual number of students compared to the actual number of teachers, right? The actual number of students and the actual number of teachers, all right? They gave us the actual number of teachers, which is right here, guys. The actual number of teachers that work at Cy Parks is 102 teachers, all right? So I'm gonna put 102, okay? And then remember, guys, the question is asking how many students are enrolled at Cy Parks. We don't know how many students are enrolled at Cy Parks, but once again, because we have the ratio between the number of students versus the number of teachers, and they've given us the number of teachers, we can find out the actual amount of students that are enrolled at Cy Parks High School, okay? So once again, guys, here are the two different ways we can do it. We can cross multiply or we can do scale factoring. I'm gonna cross multiply in this particular example, but you can also scale factor too, just like I showed in other examples, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and cross multiply. So always start off with X, and you're gonna multiply the value that's diagonal to X with X, right? So 1 times X is just 1X, or you can just put X. All right, 1 times X is just 1X or X, right? Times, and we're gonna multiply the other side of the equal sign, right? Which will be 28 times 102. 28 times 102. All right? And then guys, because X is just X, the value of X is gonna be whatever 28 times 102 will become, okay? So let me just do that on the side real quick. I'm gonna do 102 times 28. All right, and also, ladies and gentlemen, for people that may struggle with multiplying, this is a good strategy. Always divide the place values, so you want to get the place values mixed up. Okay, I'm gonna start off with 8 in the ones place. 8 times 2 is 16. I'm gonna carry the 1. 8 times 0 is nothing, plus 1 is 1. 8 times 1 is 8. Okay, I'm done with 8. Now I'm gonna multiply by the 2, which is in the tens place, so I'm gonna put an X there because we're actually multiplying by 20, right, instead of by 2, right, because it's in the tens place. So 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, 6 plus nothing is 6. 1 plus 4 is 5. 8 plus 0 is 8. 2 is just 2. Okay, so this is the value of X, which represents the number of students that are enrolled at Cy Parks High School, which is 2,856 students enrolled at Cy Parks High School, okay? That is our final answer, guys. All right, so based on this ratio, if there are 28 students for every 1 teacher, and there are actually 102 teachers that work at Cy Parks, it's safe to say that there are 2,856 students enrolled at Cy Parks. All right, so once again, guys, this is example 1 of ratios. I will add about 4 more videos, 4 to 5 more examples of ratios before I move on to the next concept, guys. Please stay tuned. Thank you so much.